Welcome to my 2024 election aftermath. A lot happened, and we're gonna start with the House just briefly. And yeah, like I said, so many changes, and as of right now, it looks pretty likely that the GOP will narrowly hold the House. Yeah, let's see. So the major shocks for me in this election is that as of right now, if we go to the 27th district of Mike Garcia, this election is so weird. Mike Garcia is on track to lose his seat against George Whiteside, which if I remember correctly, he was a CEO. But at the same time, which is this is what makes it really weird, this election. If you thought that Mike Garcia would lose, you'd be like, oh, bad year for the Republicans. No, it's pretty good actually. It's their best year since 1988, technically, in the presidential level. Because in Alaska, Mayor Peltola is on track to lose. She might be able to keep Nick Begich from under 50%, which if she is able to do that, ranked choice voting could come in. But the issue is that John Wayne Howe, he's more center right, and most of those votes I'm guessing will go to Nick Begich. So as of right now, it looks like Peltola, Mike Garcia are probably going to lose, but it's pretty likely they're going to narrowly hold the House. I don't know if it's going to be by 219 to 223. It might just be a repeat of the current numbers we have right now, which would be kind of funny. But anyways, in the Senate, as you can see, Trump did help Republicans down the ballot a lot, like I thought he did, but he did even better, because as you can see, Jackie Rosen barely defeated Sam Brown. Carrie Lake almost won in Arizona's Senate election, but even with Trump winning the state by 6 to 7%, Carrie Lake still trailed Trump by I think 8% overall, and that's insane. That's if you can't win in a Trump red wave as a Republican, retire from politics, man. That's insane. Heinrich 10 to 12. Montana, Tim Sheehy annihilated John Tester 7.5%. Nebraska, Deb Fischer, by far one of the most underwhelming Republicans in this Senate cycle. Yeah, it's almost 100% in. She's barely defeating Dan Osborne by 7%. And if this would have been a blue wave in 2024, I do think she would have lost narrowly against Dan Osborne, which is insane to think about that. That even in the best result for the GOP since 1988, she barely cracked 7%. And yeah, I mean, huge L on her part. Ted Cruz defeated Allred by 8.5% almost. Which, yeah, the Texas Democrats, and especially Florida Democrats, are beyond dead at this point. And yeah, I mean, Trump was able to do amazing gains in the suburbs with his immigration rhetoric, and he was able to max out to even, get more turnout from rural areas. Florida, I mean, yeah, I should have been more bullish on the GOP doing better in Florida. I just thought abortion was going to be a bit bigger of an issue, but nope. Wicker, Blackburn, Hawley only got 13.8%, which is something that it is a bit underwhelming on his part, to be honest. But Amy Klobuchar barely won by 15%. She was, most people had this by 20%. And Royce White, by the way, really meh candidate, terrible candidate. So I reckon a good GOP candidate could have maybe even done this like a 10% margin. Let me see. Virginia, Tim Kaine, probably gonna win by 8 to 9%. Hung Kao, I mean, I thought for a second he was gonna win on an election night, but he didn't. Also, Brooks, very underwhelming. She barely is on track to win by 9% against Larry Hogan in a diamond blue state like Maryland. But it makes sense since Larry Hogan was an A-tier candidate by the Republicans. New Jersey, Andy Kim, an A+ recruit by the Democrats, only wasn't even able to win his Senate race by double digits. And I think that if Governor Phil Murphy's wife would have been the nominee, I think Bashar would have actually won, which is insane to think. But yeah, Andy Kim, yeah, it's crazy that he only cracked 9%. New York, not that much, just very low margins for a lot of these people, especially here. And now West Virginia, Jim Justice landslide. In Ohio, Bernie Moreno, he defeated Sherrod Brown easily. I mean, it makes sense since Trump won here by a safe margin. And like I said, if if Harris lost Ohio by more than 8, Sherrod Brown is cooked. Even though there is some people and some rumors saying that Brown might run for the 2026 Ohio Senate race, which could happen though, but I don't think so. I think he's retired. But if he does, that'll be quite interesting to see. Bernie Moreno, yeah, he rode the Trump wave. He did what he had to do, and he won, fair and square. And let's go back. Now for the more interesting races. Baldwin, I think her tying herself to Trump saved her in Wisconsin, and Harris Huff that narrowly lost. And a lot, this could have been a landslide for Republicans if Democrats got quite lucky, since, just a point to the right or 2 points to the right in a lot of these swing states, or that would have basically meant a what? GOP Senate majority of 57? That would have been insane for them. And Slotkin, really good recruit by Democrats. Her being a centrist helped her, and most importantly, Mike Rogers wasn't an amazing candidate by the GOP, and that's why he wasn't able to ride the Trump wave as much, unfortunately for him, so he lost this race narrowly. Look at that margin though, yeah. And for the Senate race that I'm not too surprised about, if you saw my final Senate video, you did see me pause for almost like a minute talking about the Pennsylvania Senate race, because my gut feeling was telling me, McCormick won the debate easily. Maybe he has a shot against Casey. And Bob Casey, who has not conceded yet as of I'm making this video right now, he lost. There's no pathway for Bob Casey Jr. to win. He took this race for granted in Pennsylvania, while Dave McCormick, he ran a good campaign. He went all in, the underdog, while Bob Casey just thought that he was going to win because of his name and just because he's the incumbent. But, McCormick was able to tie Bob Casey to Biden Kamala immigration issues, and that's what really handed him his victory. And, look at that. Who would have thought about this? This race, when, by far one of the biggest letdowns by Democrats, since in the 2022 post-election cycle had this a safety, as most people did, by the way, and the margin just kept getting narrower and narrower because Bob Casey was pretty boring in the debates. He just didn't campaign as much. He just took it for granted, and that's why Dave McCormick won. And I gotta congratulate on him, because you gotta love an underdog story, and that usually doesn't happen. And now for the presidential race. First of all, I'm gonna start with this. So the demographics, this is where you can see how Harris lost. So 2020, moderates, or I should say centrists, easily went to Biden. They still went for Harris, but not as much. Democrats, she lost some, just 8% to Democrats. Republicans, pretty much the same. Independents still went for Harris, but not nearly as much as it went to Biden. Trump, men went for Trump easily, and he gained with men overall. Biden actually got more votes with women than Kamala Harris, which is really where I think, Harris was expecting abortion to help her quite a lot, but it seems like the immigration and border policies of Biden was something that they didn't like as much. Let's go save by race and ethnicity. Gonna go with that for 2024. But yeah, I'm still thinking about this election, and I'm still whoa. So yeah, I almost didn't make this video because I'm that tired. But yeah, race, ethnicity, I hope they didn't change it. So whites, 2020 went for Trump. Wait, what? This is exit poll, so not the final numbers. Yeah, because according to this exit poll, let me check. It says Trump lost a bit of the white vote. Yeah, ooh, that's interesting. I actually didn't see this before making this video. So according to this, Trump got a bit less of the white vote in 2024. That's interesting. Black vote, Harris lost a little, barely though. Here's the issue for Democrats: Latino vote, something that I talked about in previous videos. Something that the polling industry got extremely wrong in this election was the Latino vote. And that's really one of the reasons why a lot of pollsters really messed up. The only pollsters that did well in this election was Atlas. Atlas did good. You can also follow what's it called? The voter registration. The Gallup. Yeah, those guys. Gallup did well, but so many pollsters got it wrong. But anyway, Latina vote barely went for Harris. 52%. That's insanely bad for Harris. I knew that she was going to underperform. I thought she was going to get something like... I didn't think she was going to hit 65. I thought she was going to hit something within 55 to 60. But yeah, but she crumbled with Latino men. Latino men, which went for Biden by almost 60, went for Trump by almost 50, no, by 55%. That basically killed any chances of her winning the election. Even Latina woman, which she lost almost 10% with Latina woman. Black woman, she gained with black women. Black men, she lost a bit. White woman, she lost. Let me see. Yeah, she lost some votes. She thought abortion would help her. White men. The only one that actually, according to the exit poll in 2024, actually Trump lost a bit. That is interesting. Religion. That's another one that, with Biden not being on the ticket, I think she did way worse with most religions, as you can see. Apart from that, age. Here you go. Look, 65 landslide for Biden. Barely 12% win for Harris according to the exit poll. These numbers might change, but probably won't change that much. 25 to 29. Was it the same margin? No, she lost a little, but those 18 to 24 year olds, that cut a lot into her chances. 30 to 39, almost the same. But yeah, these young voters really killed any chances, and that is mostly because of the fact that Trump went on Joe Rogan, and those podcasts where a lot of young men tend to watch. Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn. That was an idea by, I think, Barron Trump, and that pretty much, I think, won Donald Trump the election, which is, this is a new era campaigning, and yeah, Joe Rogan helped Trump a lot, and Harris should have gone there, even if it would have been a bad idea for her, because it was like 40. How many views was that? Let me check. Not all of these views are from the USA and people that can vote, but 48 million alongside the 16 million. On average, that you gotta, at least a few million voters, maybe like a million changed their mind because of this podcast, and that really helped Trump a lot. That's something that we're gonna look into the future. That was a genius idea by Barron Trump for pushing his dad into doing this. And now we got this map, which I'm going to go into. So Nevada, John Ralston had Harris winning by 0.3, and he broke his 10-year streak. Of course, he would in this election. And the only reason I had Nevada winning was because of him. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Arizona went to Trump by almost Romney margins. Because of the border, I in my prediction, I did say that the border could be a big issue, but I didn't expect to see likely our Arizona. But yeah, amazing news for the GOP because of the Latino vote. Latino vote, as you can see, made it so Harris barely got New Mexico by 5.9%. And at the end of the day, I think we're getting back to the age of politics where it's the economy, stupid is the Logan slogan, which is okay though, because that's gonna make elections easier to predict, as long as the SCOTUS doesn't overturn like over Jafel or anything like that. Yeah, let's see what happens with that. Florida, landslide for Trump, insanely good margins. I should have been more bullish, and since Florida is the capital of Trumpism, I should have been more bullish. Georgia barely went by 2% to Trump, so this is going to be a swing state for 2028 easily. North Carolina 3.4. All those blue North Carolina takes went to the garbage. Virginia, and now this is where Youngkin 2028 might gain some momentum. Only went to Harris by 5.8%. So yeah, maybe if Youngkin runs in 2028, can make things interesting here. New Jersey. I really want to see how Italian American men voted. I know some from my friends that that are in this demographic around this area of the country did vote for Trump easily. And I wonder if we're gonna how this is gonna affect the 2025 governor race and perhaps 2028 I should say election. New York barely went to Harris by 11.6%. I'm not surprised about this because of the immigration crisis in New York City. And yeah, I mean, this is a horrible, horrible result for the Democrats. New Hampshire, which most pollsters had this over 5%, 538 had it by 5, barely went to Harris by 2.8%. Maine, 7.3. I looked at the districts. It's not that big of a difference from 2020. Trump going on Joe Rogan helped him a lot, getting a lot of those young men that tend to not vote. Because as you can see, in the Senate, Democrats did okay compared to the presidential level. Oh yeah, Illinois, all votes haven't been counted, but there's a decent chance Illinois will be under 10 for Democrats. And imagine if all these Kennedy voters would have gone for Trump, because Kennedy was still on the ballot. So yeah, this could have been D plus 7. Iowa, Seltzer pretty much should retire at this point. She had Harris by 3, so a 16-point error by her. So all the major pollsters, I mean, let's go John Ralston, Seltzer, Sienna. Technically, Wasserman wasn't wrong, but for his final prediction, he said it was going to be a toss-up when it was actually the best performance for Republicans since 1988. Trump winning popular vote and actually getting more than his electoral vote in 2016. So, yeah, I mean, he kind of chickened out from that. Unfortunately, Ohio almost 12%, exactly why Sherrod Brown lost, even though I'm pretty sure this is, electorally speaking, this is his best performance. But yeah, I mean, he ran almost 8% ahead of Harris, but you can't do much against, when the Democrat on top of you is losing. Ohio by 12. Minnesota. If Tim Walz wouldn't have been the VP pick, I think it could have been till D, and that's crazy to think. Wisconsin, interestingly enough, the least Trumpy state in this election, which some people thought would be the most Trumpy state. And I know some of the not some counties, but I know some the WoW counties. Yeah, I think Harris did quite better, and she did better than expected in the WoW counties, which is really interesting, especially for future elections. Michigan, Stein got almost 1% of the vote, and Muslims, going for Stein or going for Trump really messed up the chances for Harris to win in Michigan. Pennsylvania, an absolute victory for the Trump campaign, winning here by 2%, which, yeah, I mean, the most rightward state. And while Trump won the popular vote, as you can see, these 3 Rust Belt states were all below almost 2%. So we actually got very close to Trump winning the popular vote, but losing the Electoral College. Would have been really funny, stupid, and at the same time weird. And that would have been the weird timeline. So we didn't have to deal with that chaos, because that would have been really bad for the sanity of this country. And overall, Trump was able to really turn out those white working class voters, getting amazing numbers with union members. And I can't wait to see how the tariffs work, because if they do work somehow, I don't know how they could work, but if they do, then I wouldn't be surprised if this, this northern area of the country actually turns even more to the Republicans in 2028, or trends more to the Republicans in 2028, which would be very interesting. If the tariffs don't work, I mean, Vance would be screwed at that point. There's no point of talking about that. And the two really Democrats that are leading the charge for the Democratic nomination are Gavin Newsom and Josh Shapiro. And Newsom, in my opinion, loses handily, but still, it's way too early to say what's going to happen, but expect a video on one of those matchups quite soon. Thank you for sticking by. I'm still gonna do my journalism and my news posts, which is what I'm most proud of. Still, my videos, I do put a lot of effort, so, a like would mean a lot, a share even more, and a comment the most. As always, feel free to leave a like, join the Discord and the channel membership, and as always, have a good rest of your day. Bye!